This episode is going to make me really uncomfortable to talk about, but I like being uncomfortable. I lean into discomfort. Today, we're going to talk about gooning. And what is gooning? A lot of people are talking about it on the internet and YouTube, mostly in a shame condemnation way. If you go over to I'm hearing a lot of negative things about gooning. A lot of it. As you know, I've had my own journey with semen retention and stuff like that. I've started talking about sex more with people, and it's made people uncomfortable. Shit, bitch, it makes me uncomfortable. What are we doing here? Are we trying to be uh, comfortable, or are we trying to grow? I'm trying to grow. So anyway, I looked up stuff about gooning today because spirits are like, make an episode about gooning being spiritual, and I'm like, fuck. All right, so here we go. So I did a search, is gooning spiritual on YouTube? And this is what I found. How to escape lust and stop gooning biblically. How I defeated lust after 19 years of struggling. What really happens when you stop gooning? Give me 50 seconds, I'll help you defeat lust. Look at these little kids telling people about lust. Can we hear from a man about this, please? Can we hear from a man? The price of lust, a biblical warning. Here's this looks like a man battling lust. What's wrong with lust? What are y'all talking about? What kind of lust are we talking about here? The shocking effects of gooning on your brain. No fap nearly ruined my life, but I know he's into semen retention now. So, but look at all these people and all these fucking problems they have with masturbation and sexuality and lust. Look at God, what a mess. What a mess. I don't remember it being like this when I was their age. I don't remember it being like this. I don't remember there being any confusion about sex or sexuality. Well, I mean, I came out as gay. I was surrounded by sex positive people. If anything, I had way too much sex, but something has happened in our culture. Man, people are shut down. Remember, Dr. Ruth used to be on regular ass television. What the fuck happened? Well, today we're going to talk about gooning. And gooning, if you don't know what gooning is, it is prolonged extended masturbation sessions, specifically for, I don't know, pleasure. I don't know why people goon. I know why I goon. I know why I do it. But today we're going to explore what is gooning? Is it really that bad? And could gooning be spiritual in some way? Yes, but stick around for the entire episode and we will talk about that. If this topic makes you uncomfortable, good. Are you ready for this episode of the Shaman Patrick Show? Let's go.
He was once a storm in human form, sharp tongue, cold soul, heart worn and torn, living like a ghost who missed his grave till the spirit sang out and called him brave. He got rewired by the great unknown, heard the call like a dial tone to the bone. So pull up a chair, enjoy the glow. This is the Shaman Patrick Show.
For those of you who don't already know, about a year ago, I decided to do 100 days of semen retention, and I did. I didn't ejaculate for 100 days. I loved that. I loved it. And it gave me a lot of focus. I grew up. I feel like I went through a second puberty, mastering the sexual energy and not just wasting it and being obsessed with sex and all of that kind of stuff. It was very good for me. It was good for my husband. It was good for our marriage. It was good for our relationships. And plus, we wrote a book. We did an oracle deck. We wrote a book. It was a wonderful time. But after that, it started to seem a little crazy. It started to seem a little sex negative. And as a long-term practice, it seemed to take things from me and also inflate the ego. Most importantly, it inflated the ego because we started to feel like we had figured something out. And, the last time I spent any significant time with people in that community, they started to sound a little psychologically damaged to me. And I suggested therapy and a 12-step program, and that would probably clean up a lot of their feelings about sex and sexuality. Like a really good fourth step can clear a lot of that stuff out. But see, I'm willing to try new things. I'm willing to try practices. I'm willing to experience things before I have an opinion on it. I mean, that's what we should do. We really shouldn't have an opinion on things that we don't know anything about, or if we get secondhand knowledge about. And so I was like, this gooning thing, I felt very judgmental towards people who did it. I was very judgmental. And so it kind of took me by surprise, because I'm not a very judgmental person per se, but I still have some unconscious judgments hanging out there. Obviously, I didn't want to have those anymore, and I knew that that if I'm gonna have I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it in the way that they're telling. So I did goon. More than a few times, for research purposes, but also to see if it was really bad for you. Like what could be so wrong about this? I told my husband I was going to do it. He supported me. When I got done with the first one, he was like, "How was it?" I'm like, "Oh man, it's wild. It is wild. It is wild." So yeah, I did try it. I did try it for a few times. I don't know if I'm going to ever do it again. I don't know that, but I can safely say that for people who are not disciplined, oh boy, howdy, don't do it. Don't do it. Like I have a solid marriage. I have a solid relationship. I work a really good program. I don't get addicted to things much anymore, but it was like going to Disneyland. And I talk about that later in this episode. But if you have any type of addictive personality, stay far away from this shit. But this video really showed me how judgmental I was towards people who did this. And it isn't fair. So we're going to watch a portion of this video now. This video helped me see, oh gosh, I'm being a prick. I'm judging people who do this, and I don't know anything about it. So let's watch a portion of this video.
I'm inside a goon cave with a gooner.
Why would I go looking for a girlfriend when I can just go into my room and masturbate?
Imagine watching the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy every Sunday, but it's on 11 screens and
Wow.
it's porn. That is gooning. In this episode,
Well, I don't have 11 screens. I didn't do it like this. I have 2 screens. My foray into gooning was not as extreme as this, nor would I ever want it to be. The guy featured in this video, he's hardcore about this stuff.
of Human, I'm bravely going where no one has gone before.
That's one small step for man,
Deep inside a porn addict's goon cave.
one giant leap for mankind.
I'm meeting Declan, a gooner.
Other people smoke.
So, this guy went into the goon cave. He didn't actually goon. And I think that he should. I think he should. I'm going to call him out. I'm going to like, dude, you need to do it. You went in a goon cave. You're actually going to have to do it. If you want to form an opinion about it, you're going to have to actually do it. I think, or at least do a little bit more. I think if you're going to have an opinion on this, you need to know more about it and why people do it. That's just me. I didn't want to make this video without having done it.
Other people drink. I watch porn.
And he's given me unfiltered access into his world.
Are you a virgin?
Yes.
Do you think that's because of gooning?
And his full-blown masturbation station.
So this is my cave.
I want to understand what it means to be a gooner.
There's 2 27-inch monitors, 50-inch TV, and then
Oh my God.
All those panties, that would turn me off. That would just turn me off. He's obviously a straight gooner-ish. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of tablets.
Yeah.
Wow.
And find out whether we can understand porn addiction by stepping into the goon cave.
This is
if you have a porn addiction, go get help for your porn addiction. There is Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous. There are support groups for this. Like once that addiction is done, it's done. You're not going to be interested in doing the things that you're addicted to. Hey, I used to be addicted to drugs and alcohol. I did. But when I did a really good fourth step, it cleared up a lot of stuff for me. A lot of things that didn't even have to do with drugs and alcohol. But I no longer have the desire to drink. I no longer have the desire to use drugs. I don't like to be altered anymore because you undergo a psychic change. If you're going through any type of addiction, get treatment for it. Some people go and do semen retention. I'm like, well, that's going to fuck you up even more. It's going to fuck you up so much. These poor people, like, oh gosh.
Weird, right?
Yeah, this is weird.
Welcome to Zandland. This is human.
So we're not going to watch this whole episode. We're not going to watch it, but I just want you to get an overview of sort of how people feel about it.
So, what the hell is gooning? Google searches for the term have increased 4,900% in the last 5 years, meaning some of you will have heard of it, and statistically speaking, some of you will actually be gooners, and probably most of you will be sat there right now thinking, what the frick is gooning?
I personally think that if somebody wants to do this, they're seeking a spiritual experience. Just like with alcohol, just like with drugs, just like with any addiction, you're seeking a spiritual experience. And I feel like you can have a spiritual experience with gooning. Now, are people having a spiritual experience with it? Probably, but they don't have any direction. They don't know about it. I mean, I didn't realize that alcoholics or addicts are just seeking a spiritual experience until a couple of years ago. And I've been sober for a while. I didn't know that. So sometimes old timers will say, more will be revealed. More will be revealed. And when that stuff gets revealed to you, you're like, oh, so I can look at somebody who wants to goon in this way as wanting a spiritual experience that they're not having. And actually, I would say that gooning probably doesn't have much to do with sex at all, but I'm going to look at this stuff a lot differently. Of course I am.
But luckily, to help explain, an anonymous gooner sent in this, a porn-filled PowerPoint that has some very useful and slightly uncomfortable information in it. So, I now feel educated enough to tell you that gooning is basically porn maxing, watching as much porn as you possibly can. That means
I've watched a lot of porn in my life. I mean, I've gone to parties where we all get naked and watch porn. It's pretty common among gay men. I mean, before it was called gooning, it was just hanging out with your friends. Like we would get together on Friday nights. I'm just gonna tell you what it's like for gay men. Like we would get together on Friday nights, watch Farscape. This was in the 90s, early 2000s. Come over to my house, we'd get drunk, we'd do drugs, we'd play strip poker, and we'd end up all watching porn at the end of the night and have fun, leave, go to bed. It wasn't a fucking big deal at all. It's still not a big deal. People still do that. I don't do that anymore, but I mean, I think this shit right here is a result of all the shaming of men and their sexuality. I think this is a result of it, shaming men, because this shit started kicking off around the same time, like when NoFap started, and why the need to shame men and control men through their sexuality? And I was really curious about all the negativity surrounding this. Just so much negativity about this, and making fun of it, and not even like, why would people do this? Why would people get engaged with this at all? Like, if you're not interested in it, you're not interested in it. But why does it matter if other people are interested in it or not? You see? Why have an opinion on it? I mean, I don't eat seed oils, and I've become less opinionated. I was telling somebody in a session today that I don't eat fast food or anything like that, and I used to preach to people about the dangers of fast food and all that. Now, if somebody offers me a cookie, I just say, well, I have fitness goals, and that shuts it down. I don't feel like I need to shame other people for eating at McDonald's or anything like that. That's called growth. So I don't preach to people about the stuff that they do or don't do anymore, even if I have in the past. I'm getting better at that. I'm not a preacher, I'm a shaman. But the condemnation and the shame, especially towards men, can I speak to you as a man about this topic free of judgment and shame? Can I do that? I mean, I'm 53 years old. I've grown up. I don't think this is as big of a deal as people think. But if it's taking men away from women, I think I think it's a perfect way to explore your sexuality. And when you get sick of it, you'll get sick of it if it doesn't destroy your life first, like most addictions. But I just don't see anything wrong with it until it is wrong. We'll get into more of that in the presentation. But this weird shame around sex and sexuality is weird because it used to not be this way. It used to not be this way at all.
Means multi-monitor, multi-hour masturbation in, at its extremes, a room which is completely turned into a pornographic paradise, otherwise known as the Goon Cave. Now, each to their own. I'm not here to judge or kink shame, knock yourself out or goon yourself out. But there's something about gooning that made me want to dig a little bit deeper.
Me too. I wanted to dig a little deeper. I don't have a goon cave, but I went into a virtual one. Someone helped get me involved in this and told me where to go and what to do. So I didn't discover it on your own. Like most drugs or addiction, somebody has to show you how to do it. And no, I am not going to show you how to do it. Just get that out of your fucking head right now. But I did go into a virtual one, and it is crazy. It is wild. It is wild. I didn't judge people. I don't judge people. Especially not anymore about this. But there are some people who are into some crazy shit on this stuff. And I don't know. I'm kind of proud of myself for getting over judging people in this way. I do. I'm proud of myself.
So I'm not exactly sure that I can fully fact check the numbers on this one, but I want to try and find out whether this is just a new kink or the rise of something some would see as problematic. A trend of people being fully addicted to porn. And to do that, I'm going to the City of Angels, Los Angeles, to meet a gooner.
I don't know how much of this I want to watch, but I do want to express. You know what? Let me talk about this. Part of my story is that I had a webcam in my house that focused on me 24 hours a day from 1998 until 2002, I believe. So it was like an ever-present webcam. It watched me do everything. But as a result of that, I was very involved in the internet community at that time. I met the co-founder of Twitter. I interacted with some of the luminaries of that time. It was really cool. Most of the people that I used to know back then are now billionaires, and I am not. So there you go. But I did remember that this one guy did this global cam thing. And so I reached out to him because I wanted to get the details of it correct. And I wanted to know what it was. I personally didn't participate in that, but I wanted to see what it was. So I reached out to him on Instagram, and I said, hey, this is me. Remember me? And he's like, yeah, I remember. And I said, I remember those open masturbation cam things where everybody did it on their cams at the same time. And I think you led that or were a significant part of that. I was never really a part of it because I was more on the gay side of it all. But I want to be specific about it and not say anything untrue. And I don't want to say you were involved in it or even reference your name if you have moved on and don't want to revisit it. But there was something really strange and mystical about that time. And I feel it has relevance to what is going on in the world today. I feel something was activated back then through sexual energy, and it's happening again in some way. Are you putting the pieces together? And he says, yes, I created Globalgasm for a time, monthly global digital shared sex events via webcam. And I said, thank you. I found the website. Do you have any thoughts about bringing it back, or is that firmly in the past for you? And he said, definitely a fond chapter in the past. So the website is still active, and there's not many websites that are still around from those days. And so I was shocked to find that this website was still active. Flash is dead. Flash is gone. So we're not going to be able to see that. But here's what it was. It was a weekly digital orgy with the intent of healing the planet. Imagine the entire world having sex at once. To participate, simply have an orgasm at the designated time. That shouldn't be too hard, pardon the pun, but don't think of it as just an orgasm. Think of it as your role in a huge global release. The world needs an injection of focused, positive sexual energy. If we all do it at the same time, we can build off each other and elevate the vibe to an earth-shattering level. Many of us do it in front of webcams, so we actually share the experience visually, regardless of where you release. Yeah, back then, a lot of people did that on webcam. A lot of people did. It was kind of, I would say it's kind of cool. But regardless of where you release, we all share the experience spiritually. No matter where we are physically, we are all together in our minds. Globalgasm is a collective expression of sexual healing. No disrespect to Marvin Gaye. Now more than ever, the world could use some help. And if this all seems too new agey for you, heck, it certainly can't hurt. And so, but all of this used to be like freely available on the internet. You didn't have to sign up for anything, but also kids didn't have access to the internet in the way that they have now. And certainly the internet was not in the palm of somebody's hands. I mean, when this was going on, people had laptops and stuff, but most people had a big old computer and a big old monitor in their house. And it was a much more free, there wasn't a whole bunch of shaming. There was some shaming, but I don't remember it being this way. I don't remember people being so sexually repressed and afraid of their sexual desires. And maybe that's just what I'm experiencing now in sobriety and the things that I'm seeing. Of course, there are sexually free people out there, but with Facebook and social media and stuff, it just seems like it's gotten separated and giving rise to this stuff right here. Shame-based gooning. I would say there's a lot of shame in gooning, and I think people might be addicted to the shame of it all. In addition to what they're doing, shame can be very addictive. That's why it's kind of hard to pry people away from their shame. People love feeling shame about stuff. And it's really hard to get people to not be ashamed of stuff. Trust me, I know. I got spirits that eat shame. People don't really want to not be ashamed of stuff because shame releases chemicals. And shame, when you're ashamed of something, it releases a cocktail of chemicals. And when you feel ashamed, and just like any other addict, if I try to help people not feel ashamed of stuff, they will get mad at me. They will get upset. Shame is just as addictive as any other drug out there.
So the guy I'm meeting is a guy that we're calling Declan because he's a gooner. What I know so far is that he watches a lot of pornography. I've never watched pornography. I don't even know what it is. I hear it's something that you can get on the internet and, features naked people and stuff.
We have that same billboard in our hometown. We have that same billboard. That billboard must be everywhere.
But as a pure man, I'm joking. Declan had agreed to meet us as long as we didn't show his face. He was understandably a little bit conscious about telling everyone on the internet about his gooning habits. So we gave him a mask, which to my jet-lagged brain, well, was pretty hilarious. Why am I laughing so much?
This is a real meeting, Ben.
This is the first time we met.
Organic.
Really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
This is what you look like.
All the time, yeah.
Okay, calm down. So tell me a little bit about
And yeah, this is kind of, I mean, it's weird for me too. So don't worry, I'm having a great time.
How would you describe a gooner?
I would say someone who maximizes their porn intake and then for as long as possible.
So, like, kind of the purpose is you're literally trying to get as much porn in your life
Exactly.
as you can. So, are you watching it because you enjoy the storylines of porn?
This is just extreme porn. Like I've done this stuff at parties with maybe when I was on drugs. I've definitely done this. There's been multiple screens, multiple guys hanging out and doing it. And I mean, it was fun. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was fun.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay. I mean, obviously, like you currently you currently look wild.
Oh yeah, no.
But behind the mask, you're like a very normal guy. Like, are all gooners like you?
You'd walk by them on the street, you wouldn't really know.
And why talk to me today?
People have misconceptions about it, and
Actually, Merrick and I watched this video together, and so when we went to Walmart and stuff like that, we're like, I wonder if that guy's a gooner. I wonder if that guy's a gooner. I wonder. Probably. You probably know a gooner. You probably know somebody already that does this.
if I can help, then yeah, why not clear the air?
What are the misconceptions of gooning?
That's like their whole life. That's all they focus on. I normally just spend one day gooning, and then the rest of my week is just mainly focusing on other stuff. On a normal basis, like 6 to 7 hours, probably like 12 at the max. I'm not Superman.
So, I mean, some people go to bars. Some people drink. They get drunk. They go binge drinking. Why is binge drinking more socially acceptable than something like this? I would say that binge drink, like people would spend 6 to 7 hours in a bar. I mean, there's a lot of alcoholics out there.
12 hours.
Yeah, I think that would be
watching pornography.
I've noticed that there's a point maybe to where I'm just mentally exhausted, so I'll take a 30 to an hour break. I'll go do something completely different. I make sure to stay hydrated.
That's important.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you think you do this?
Good de-stressor. It's a good disguise as a distressor.
It's a bit of escapism, maybe.
Yeah, in a sense.
Declan had agreed to take me inside his goon cave. But first, I had to ask him about the rest of his home. It's a very kind of minimalistic design. Is this a conscious decision?
I don't really spend a lot of time in this area, so why decorate it?
Is most time spent in the goon cave?
Yes, and then other aspects of like when I need to eat, obviously in the kitchen.
This living area is not a priority?
Not really, no.
Do you have people round much?
Majority time, no. There are some people that might stop by, but besides that, usually just myself.
And do you have like a partner, girlfriend, boyfriend?
Nope.
How would you describe your kind of sexuality?
If a regular person were to ask me straight within the goon scene, pornosexual, but there's a reason behind that, it's more of just to cater who talks to me rather than my actual identity.
What is a pornosexual?
Someone who prefers porn over sex is like the official term.
Do you spend like quite a lot of time thinking about porn?
Maybe for other people it's constant to where they always think about it, but for me it usually just spiraled with one thought, and then that kind of leads down to a rabbit hole in itself.
How do you feel in those moments?
Like annoyed and tense, because it's like, do you want to do something that you can't really do?
Do you mean masturbate?
Yeah.
Okay. And this could happen like even at work or something?
Yeah, like if there's downtime, let's say you're scrolling Instagram, see that, oh, that person looks hot. And then your mind kind of wanders, and then from there on, you were at work and now you're kind of in the mode of like, oh, okay, I wish I could masturbate.
Well, the thing is, don't look at that shit at work. Don't look at that stuff at work. I am not as well, I'm older now, so I don't have that kind of thing going on. But I remember I can estimate his age about, late 20s, maybe. So, I mean, definitely I was sex obsessed when I was younger. Definitely very sex obsessed. Like, yeah, like my friends and I would go over to a friend's house and they would have porn playing on their TV. It was very like normal. It was just normal. There wasn't any shame about it. And I used to joke and say that gay porn is the CNN for gay men. It's like CNN for gay men, because there wasn't a whole lot of positive gay representation back then. So we got a lot of that through porn. I mean, it's true.
Are you a virgin?
Yes.
Do you think that's because of gooning or kind of gooning as a consequence?
I'd say a mix of both. So again, I'm not really good with talking with women, so I kind of just stuck to myself. During the pandemic, I found gooning, and then from there, it was kind of like, not I don't need women, but now it's more selective.
Do you ever tell anybody that you're a gooner?
If I did, I don't know what the reaction would be. Probably negative, but more so questioning why I would do that and why I would spend my time and money doing that.
How would you answer that question?
I'm addicted to it, so it's just...
Well, if he's addicted to it, then you want treatment for it. Like, you really shouldn't do things that you're addicted to, as a rule. And if anybody needs to hear this, if you're addicted to something, get treatment for that addiction. You don't want to be you don't want to do the things that you're addicted to. You don't. I mean, he said it.
More of reflecting on me that I have an addiction, and that's my way to kind of not cure it, but I'm lost for words right now. But
is that how you see it? So you have like a kind of extreme?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you have a goon cave, you are addicted to porn.
No,
I would say that. I would say that. I mean, I don't have a goon cave. I went into a virtual goon cave, and it was crazy. It was wild. It was definitely something that if I had a setup like this guy, this is pretty, what you're about to see is pretty damn extreme. Like, the kind of gooning I did was pretty vanilla. Like, it was pretty tame compared to this. So I guess I haven't really gooned yet.
I knew a bit more.
But I've been in situations. I have gooned. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, spirits.
About how Declan viewed himself, it was officially time. Could we see the goon cave?
Sure.
After you.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like a cave?
No, it just looks like a room with clutter on the wall. Oh, there are towels on the chair, so I don't damage the chairs. I'm just letting you know.
And
I would hope there's towels. Plenty of towels.
when you say damage, you mean with...
No, I mean, like if you had something on your pants.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is my cave. There's two 27-inch monitors, 50-inch TV, bikinis, lingerie, panties on the wall.
And then also...
a chair, and then...
Oh my God, yeah, it's a lot of tablets.
Yeah.
Wow. Could I take a moment to
Sure,
sit in
yeah.
there? So you wear this is for...
No, this is just... Yeah, it's just more for...
This is the Semen Protect
No,
7000.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's just more for, in a sense, your case, so...
And are you like just kind of, so you're watching, wow, just really, and then you're kind of like a little bit of scratching the monkey. And then what, you're kind of like waiting to climax for 12 hours? Or there's like kind of...
It's more of a balance, so you're
It's
trying
a
to...
marathon, not a sprint type of vibe.
Yes, if there was a graph, your climax right here, point of no return, you're just trying to get as close as possible and balance that.
How do you feel in those moments? Is it like chase?
I mean, that can be very spiritual. I mean, what he's describing right there is, it sounds very spiritual. I mean, when I do that kind of stuff, it's very spiritual for me. It's like a great way to get into the body. But at the same time, I don't know if having all those screens and all them panties and stuff, I mean, it's a little crazy. It is.
A high.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm able to recreate that feeling, but obviously over time, maybe one screen was enough, and then now I had to do two. Now I have the option for three.
And there's two projectors.
Yeah, two projectors. I'll put that one on the ground pointed towards the ceiling so I'm able to see that.
So it's like full on near 360.
On the
Exactly.
ceiling.
Well, I try to, no matter where you look, you're watching some type of stimulant.
Now, I did work with a porn addict recently, more than one. And he reported that he needed constant stimulation and constant image changing and stuff like that. And so when I went into that virtual goon cave, that's what was on the screens, just constant, no scene would last more than a few seconds. And it was just a constant change. It was also a gay gooning thing. So it was only gay porn on there, and guys by themselves. So it wasn't like, I don't know, hetero gooning, or is there such a thing as hetero gooning? So I did the gay gooning stuff, and it was, I mean, it was nothing different than what you would see in like a gay bathhouse. In a gay bathhouse, there's screens everywhere. And so, it's actually not as weird to some people, but if you've never encountered this shit before, I would see that it could be very strange for you.
Explain a little bit about these walls. So these are panties and bikinis.
Yes.
Are they used?
No.
Or?
So all these are just going to be eBay. These right here, they were used, but it's more of bought and then they were washed.
And are you looking at them?
Keeps me encapsulated into watching porn.
What's it like showing me this?
Very vulnerable.
Why would you just not do a VR headset? I've got a VR headset. No.
I feel very vulnerable. I don't feel judged, thank you. But it's just something that I think only 2 people have seen before. I've had a person over, and...
Man or woman?
Man.
So what, there's times where you'll have a kind of duo...
yeah.
So you were both naked together? Yeah. Oh, interesting. I like... They were fully erect, you were fully erect. Was that kind of sexually arousing? Does that mean your sexuality is a bit more fluid?
That's where it gets complicated. I think the best way to put it probably would be heteroflexible, to where I am physically and emotionally attracted to women, but for a guy, maybe if they have, I'll be honest, if they have a nice penis, then I like it.
What is a nice penis?
For me, maybe it's just like the size, length, thickness. Some people like cut versus uncut. Curve, I guess my specific type would be like longish, thick, curved upwards, cut, and then like I guess a good set of balls.
I mean, yeah, I like that too. We have something in common, Declan. We definitely have something in common. But I think doing it in a group is fine. I don't think, because one of the main criticisms of gooning is that it's isolating and that it's lonely and that you just seal yourself off from the world. And so Declan, doing it in a group is fine, honey. There ain't nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I would encourage it for Declan.
Interesting.
What makes good balls?
I mean, they're not saggy, they're not tiny. I don't want a dude that looks like he's on steroids.
And are you looking at the penis during the porn more than...
I love it when straight guys talk about this kind of stuff, It's kind of quaint.
In the vagina? Or...
It's a mix of both.
How do you stop it from going... like it pushing you to the kind of darkest recesses of porn, because it must get harder to get that buzz every time because, you obviously become so accustomed to porn.
I think more of just having like moral limits, or I try not to ever get to a point to where I regret watching what I did. I don't watch anything illegal. I don't watch any blood, gore, scat, anything like that. I prefer looking at a woman and knowing, oh, they're overage, like well overage, versus did they just start? Are they...
Yeah, I could be down with that. Like, definitely no kids, nothing, anything like that. That's not sexy at all. And it's definitely, I definitely agree with that. I personally don't like to look at things that feel exploitative or anything. I don't even really like looking at porn really all that much, anymore. I used to like it a whole lot, but now I just feel I like real connections now. I like connecting with real people about real things. And so definitely none of that. And the rapid fire nature of some of this goon stuff is a little bit like it puts you in an altered state of consciousness. That's for damn sure.
Out of high school, like that really bugs me.
When was the last time you had like people in your goon cave?
Maybe like 2 months ago.
And that was like that guy that you did it like once?
Twice.
Twice.
But twice as in this space, but before I was part of a masturbation group. So we would go to someone's apartment or they rented out a hotel, and then I kind of got to experience like what mutual masturbation was there.
So everyone would sit with each other and masturbate. Would you like masturbate each other?
Yes.
I mean, that sounds really healthy. Like that sounds better than doing it on your own. I mean, I think it's not like if you can do it with other people, that sounds a lot better than just doing it on your own, for real.
At the same
Hands-on,
time.
yeah. So it was very hands-on, but it was whatever you were comfortable with. So
Hands-on is an interesting turn of
Yeah.
phrase. So you're kind of like this,
we're more next to each other.
and you're
focus on one
sitting in
person.
like a circle.
Honestly, just think of like a really big living room, and kind of wherever people sit, that's where the action goes.
And you're watching.
No, surprisingly, no.
There's no watching.
No.
Are you looking at each other?
Yeah.
In the eyes?
Some people.
In the eyes? Oh God, no. Oh God, no. Not in the eyes. There's it's only gay if you kiss. It's only gay if you kiss.
Do. It's whatever you're comfortable with. There's people that will be kind of in the circle doing their thing, and then maybe a new person came, so they're not really sure what to do. So then they end up just kind of staying on the outskirts.
What's this thing?
That is lube.
Can I open it?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, sure. So it's just...
Wow, you've gone through. So let me see.
Yeah.
That's a decent amount of lube, isn't it? Do you think we could kind of like oil up the Goon Cave and see what it's like?
Why didn't you do it with them, dude? Why didn't you give it a shot? Who knows? You might have liked it. Maybe they did. I don't know.
In full action?
Sure, yeah.
Hey guys, so thank you very much for watching this latest episode. I'm currently watching the edit as we speak. I just wanted to take a moment to say, if you're enjoying this and you're enjoying learning about Gooners, please like and subscribe because it helps us at Zanland. We're trying to build a community here, so please hit that subscribe button. Now, time to enter the Goon Cave.
Oh, I have that.
And this video that I saw of this really helped me be non-judgmental. And I do want to reiterate, like Merrick and I would make fun of gooners. We would make fun of people, especially when we were on semen retention. We would speak negatively about people who masturbate and do that. God, we were so ego inflated back then. Oh my God. But definitely we've come back down to earth and understand more about this practice and why people do it. Seek to understand, not be understood. So as we watch this next part where they fire up the Goon Cave, we're gonna just see what it looks like. All right.
That one I have. Give me a second. I might.
All right, I'm going to sit here to kind of get the full.
Yeah, sure. I misplaced the USB for that one, so I need to find a backup for that.
Whoa. I mean, I feel like I'm in Times Square, but instead everyone's naked and there's boobs everywhere. Walk me through the motions. So we're sitting here. We've fully set up the Goonathon. I'm completely nude. I've got an erect penis.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Oh, God.
all right, it's time to goon.
So
Well, you said it, buddy. You said it, not me.
have non-nude stuff playing on any of the tablets, and then on the projectors it'll be strip teasing or stripping. On the TV and the two monitors, that'll be hardcore porn.
And what are you mostly looking at?
Mainly the main screen. From there it kind of just goes on to where my eyes wander. Just gives me a surrounding sense.
I can't even listen to what you're saying because there's just so much porn.
It is very overwhelming, like a trance-like sense once you reach that point.
It's a unique experience.
Extremely unique.
I have never done this before.
Which is good.
And you do this for...
He said, which is good. Which is good. Like, this guy doesn't want people to get to this point. He doesn't even want people to get to this point, which is good if you've never done anything about it. But I want to know how, like, this guy, he must have extreme restraint. He must be really restrained, because I don't know if I could be in somebody's goon cave and not want to take my pants off.
12 hours?
At the max, yes.
That is crazy.
I agree. I think maybe I figured that this is my way of de-stressing from the world. I think this is more of just a fetish, so once I get an experience of the real world, I hope that this is something that it's not an itch that I need to scratch. It's easier to find stimulation especially like sexual stimulation. Why would I go looking for a girlfriend when I can just go into my room and masturbate?
Do you think it's distorted how you view women at all?
I try not to look at women as like objects. I know that with everyone, there's a surface level version of them, and then there's also a deeper version of them. I might fantasize them about them differently now, like, oh, they're hot. I wonder what they would look like, you know, naked more.
Yeah, I guess it's hard for it not to slightly change how your perspective of women, you know, I suppose because you're not necessarily interacting with women in life.
And this is good because whatever you see on a screen, your subconscious doesn't know that you're not experiencing that. And that's important to bring up. Like putting yourself in a situation like this could be very damaging and disturbing to your subconscious. I mean, it really could. Like I went into my experience knowing that there's a high potential for addiction, that it is a little crazy, a lot crazy, a lot weird. And I also wanted to know exactly what all the fuss was about. And I saw what all the fuss was about. So on this virtual Goon Cave, some of the things that were on the screens, it did make me feel like I was on drugs. It did make me feel like I was tripping. It did make me feel like like the way that they mixed the music and all of that stuff. There was also an emphasis on using amyl nitrate or anything like that. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do anything like that. But there were like instructions on the screens as to what to do, and it was very. It definitely was an altered state of consciousness. But when you're in that altered state of consciousness, I felt like if I were highly suggestible, that I could be manipulated in some way. Like I could easily be manipulated into doing more of this because there was a lot. I don't know how to describe this. There was a lot of chronic addiction, masturbate, like a lot of that stuff. Like do it every day, give in to the urge, do it every day, do it all the time, give in to the urge. And you know, I mean, if I were in a different place in my life, I could see where it could take me over. But I'm in a happy marriage. I'm sober. And though I could possibly do it again if I felt like it, but it definitely was like, I could see why people would do this. But again, I didn't have all of these projections and all of that stuff going on. But I could imagine that it would just be a complete sensory deprivation experience where all you're looking at is porn. Mine was not like that.
Normally, and this is the interpretation of it. It's obviously a hypersexualized sense.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a fantasy. That's all it is at the end of the day.
Like, do you think if you had the relationship with a woman, it would pull you out of this?
I think there would be a big incentive to be pulled out of it. But then again, this is the cause of my own actions. If I didn't want to quit at the end of the day, it's more of my decision.
I mean, I'm actually nervous when the audio comes on just because I feel like you can't currently take it up any further, but... Oh, yes. Some of the noises.
So I have this bit of audio and then this window playing right now. But as far as the left
so they're all playing?
They're all playing, yeah.
Oh,
And
my
is this
God.
the volume you'd usually go for?
Yeah, I don't want to, bother the neighbors.
It's really disorientating. Do you think you could ever get to a point where you're watching porn in a less extreme way?
Like my personal rule.
No, it's just... Do you feel like I'm judging you?
No, but it does give me a reflection because this is kind of just reinforcing the fact that this isn't normal. It is kind of actually reinforcing, like, it would be probably a good idea to stop doing this.
Would you recommend this to people?
Absolutely not. Would you recommend telling someone to try heroin?
Probably not.
So that's how I relate it.
What's clear is
So he's equating it with something like heroin. And I mean, and in shamanic stuff, going into altered states, using sexuality, using eroticism to go into these altered states. He's basically putting himself in an altered state. Where's the guidance to help you integrate? Like where's the Where's the grounding? Like this seems like a bad idea for most people. This seems like a bad idea. It seems like something that can completely take over your life and destroy it. It does. It really does. And I, even though I said I tried it, I made sure I checked in. I did all that stuff before trying it. I made sure that my husband knew that I was doing it. And so, this is something that I would not even recommend anybody trying. You gotta get to, like, it's, I only did it to see what it was all about, because I made fun of it. But I'm telling you, don't even try it, because if you are not disciplined, if you have no grasp on reality, don't even do it. Don't even do it. But in the later in the presentation, I'm going to get into how it could be spiritual and how people are seeking a spiritual experience when they do stuff like this. But even he's having some second thoughts, and he's, when you let a non-gooner into your goon cave and they say this looks a little crazy, it will have you sometime to cause to reflect. But also, I was in the meth scene, and this kind of shit is common among meth users. It is. And I don't see, it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. I mean, I've done some crazy things when I was on drugs. I have done some crazy shit, but I would never do something like that not on drugs. I wouldn't go over to people's house. I wouldn't do this stuff not on drugs. So the fact that people are doing it not on drugs, I'm like, wow, that's a little nuts.
That it feels like it's something that's really hard to escape.
Yeah, no, it is. For me to say that I don't spend a lot of time watching porn would be very ignorant.
It would be hard to make that case while sitting here. Yeah, there's a few moments that I don't know what to say, but in this moment, I actually don't know what to say.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Neither do I.
Oh, but I think that's the experience of it. Like, I'll get into that in the presentation, but it just kind of puts you in a trance. Like nothing really exists except what you're doing and what you're looking at. Like to me, it's very ritualistic, very ritualistic. Okay. So this video goes on, and he talks to a psychologist. If you want to know more about this guy's story and what the psychologist says, please look at this video. Seek to understand, not be understood. But some of the comments here are pretty rough. So people talk about dopamine levels and all this other kind of stuff. Takes a lot of courage to show the world your deepest desires. Addiction is addiction, right? I agree with that. This person says this is called loneliness and sadness, unhealthy social trajectory for young men. Seems like a nice, sharp guy, just struggling. I wish him happiness in the future. And he could easily convert this setup to an NFL red zone. This shows how technology is absolutely ruining humanity. Watching hardcore adult content on 20 plus screens, blasting your brain with dopamine for 12 hours straight is the same as training for a marathon. Okay, so the psychologist starts to, try to not make him feel ashamed of it. And we're not going to watch that part of the video, but that's fascinating because the people in this comments are calling the therapist wrong, and the therapist is trying to get him to not feel ashamed of it. If he's not hurting anybody, if he's not hurting himself, why the shame? Why the shame? He was saying he had 10 friends and did all these activities, but kept saying he never goes out and is a loner. Where did you find this, doctor? 12 hours of porn is not mentally and emotionally healthy. Has nothing to do with the availability of time. She is going out of her way to make this light when it's not. And even though we're not going to watch that part of the therapist, she equates it like, what about Netflix binge watching? What about video games? What about anything? So anything done to excess can be harmful. But I don't think this gooning in the way that it's being presented is harmless. I don't think it's harmless, much in the way that meth is not harmless or binge drinking is not harmless. There's a balance and a moderation for everything. Okay, in the next part of this video, I have a presentation for you where we talk about gooning a little bit more. Stick around for that. Our book, The Machinations of Ego, is now available on Amazon.com and on our website at concreteshamans.com. Get it, read it, and wake the fuck up. Also, our latest album, You Want to Be Enlightened, is available for digital deluxe download on our website at concreteshamans.com. We didn't release this one to streaming services other than YouTube Music. This was written by us and produced with AI, and the record blurs the line between human catharsis and machine precision. Each song cracks open a piece of the ego, burns away illusion, and invites you into the strange and hilarious process of waking up. It's raw, it's real, it's enlightenment with a backbeat. Get it now. We're back. So I have a presentation about gooning, and I get into some spiritual aspects of it as well, like we would here. So let's go to this presentation right now. Let's talk about gooning. Yes, that thing the internet is shrieking about like it's the end of civilization. YouTube is filled with videos warning that gooning will melt your brainstem, destroy your masculine essence, and turn you into a drooling zombie chained to your own junk. People say it will ruin your life, your relationships, and your ability to look your grandmother in the eye ever again. Dramatic much? For those that don't know, gooning refers to a long and intensely pleasurable masturbation session, usually in the dark, surrounded by screens, with a full commitment to getting lost in sexual energy. It's a trance state, a pleasure tunnel, a porn-based pilgrimage, a spiritual rave held entirely inside your nervous system. And like the guy said in the video, that's exactly what this is. Is there anything wrong with it? I think we saw in that video, like having all those screens and all of that stuff. That's a little crazy. But I do like when this part says here, a spiritual rave held entirely inside your nervous system. It's definitely like gooning is very shamanic. It's very ritualistic. Human beings are ritualistic by nature. Are we doing it for the right reasons? But gooning is a new name for an old practice, and guess what? It's not new. Men have been doing weird sexual practices to get high off their own biology since the dawn of time. Now, when I say get high, change their consciousness, alter their consciousness. Ancient traditions included semen retention, sexual trance, breath work, tantric edging, ritual self-pleasure, and erotic meditation to reach altered states. The modern era just added Wi-Fi and 4K resolution. Technology is the only difference. Now let's think about technology being the only difference here. So what is the difference between attending an orgy where you're watching all these different people have sex and then watching porn on a bunch of different screens? What's the difference in that? What's the difference? Well, the music, but I mean, there's been ritual orgies and stuff like that before in history. So why is everyone suddenly screaming that gooning is dangerous? Are they right? Or is this another morality panic created by people who are terrified of their own genitals? Let's look at this rationally. Yes, rationally about masturbation. It's possible. It's possible. It is possible. When does something actually become a problem? It isn't complicated. A behavior becomes an addiction. Wait, let me take this off. Why do I still have this on? A behavior becomes an addiction when it interferes with daily life, damages relationship, affects responsibilities, controls you instead of controlling it, is used to escape emotional pain instead of facing reality. That's it. If someone is gooning 14 hours a day and skipping work, ghosting friends, and refusing to touch grass, yeah, that's a problem. But that's not because of gooning. That's called addiction, and addiction can attach itself to anything. Video games can ruin lives. Food can ruin lives. Porn can ruin lives. You can get addicted to working out. You really can. Even spirituality can ruin your life. So the real question is never, is gooning bad? The real question is, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to escape, to cope with anxiety or loneliness, to avoid feelings you're terrified to feel? Or are you doing it because it's your kink, it's fun, it's safe, and you enjoy exploring the edges of pleasure and consciousness? Those are two entirely different planets. So I have friends that I can talk openly about sexuality with. I also have friends who are very shamed about sexuality. If it ever comes up in conversation, they're like, no, 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 no. I actually don't like hanging out with sex negative people or people who can't talk about all different types of things, because dividing your sexuality from the rest of your life is weird. For me, it is weird, but it's not like you go into Walmart and say, I just had sex. No, it's not like that. But you carry your erotic energy and your erotic charge with you all the time. And like it said on that slide, are you gooning because you're escaping, or are you gooning because it's your kink? It could be your kink. It could be something that you're into. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it to explore the edges of pleasure and consciousness, or are you doing it to cope with feelings? I would say deal with your feelings first before using something else to cope with it. But I mean, that's a tall order. I mean, I've gone through the recovery process. I still am in recovery. I'm going to be in recovery for the rest of my life, but I've definitely mellowed about the things that I used to cope. I mean, I've kind of gone through a transformation this past year where I got rid of a lot of numbing agents. So I came to this experience of gooning knowing that I wasn't using it to cope with anything, that I wasn't using it to escape anything. I approached it because I heard that it did put you in an altered state. I think that I was going to try it before I knocked it, but I definitely wasn't doing it to cope with anxiety or loneliness. It was something like, I want to try this. I want to experience this and see what all the fuss is about. And so that's why we say exploring the edges of consciousness. I definitely did some exploration in the further reaches of pleasure and consciousness. I mean, I did feel like I came out of my body and went back in multiple times. So here's the spiritual master's perspective. I am not a spiritual master. I'm not trying to be a spiritual master, but there is a spiritual master's perspective that we can take with all this. Sex is okay. Money is okay. Power is okay. Pleasure is okay. What matters is balance. When something throws your life out of alignment, everything else collapses. When something becomes a substitute for connection, power, or purpose, it becomes a trap. But if you have discipline, boundaries, and self-respect, you can transform sexual energy into something powerful. You can get into your body instead of living in your head. You can explore altered states without using drugs. Ritual masturbation exists in multiple ancient traditions, not because shamans were perverts, but because the body is the doorway to the spirit. Self-pleasure is natural. Sexual frustration is real. Exploration is healthy. Shame is the real poison. Now, if you think masturbation is sinful, evil, or dirty, then gooning will give you all the shame your ego is begging for. Enjoy your internal moral horror movie. Some people love their suffering. They really do. But if you're grounded and conscious, gooning can be a fun and intense sexual playground, a body-based meditation, a way to transmute energy, a controlled exploration of pleasure without harming anyone. So, I mean, you can watch some porn and not involve other people. It doesn't really involve other people. You can watch it on your own. And I think that's a safe way. Like seducing people or I don't know. Sometimes uncomfortable conversations can be uncomfortable. And if we don't want to have uncomfortable conversations with people, we could just try something out on our own. So what's the verdict? Gooning is basically sexual Disneyland. It's fireworks and roller coasters for your nervous system. Just remember, you cannot live in Disneyland. Do it if you want, but don't do it all the time. Don't let anything own you. Own yourself. If you're escaping life, get help. If you're exploring your body consciously, carry on. The bottom line is gooning isn't the problem. Lack of discipline is the problem. Shame is the problem. Fear is the problem. Disconnection from the body is the problem. Integrate it. Don't be controlled by it. And stop letting strangers on YouTube tell you what to do with your genitals. This includes me. I'm a stranger on YouTube. You could do what you want. The goal with all of this, especially this video that I'm making, is shame is poison. Being ashamed, judging people for the things that they do is poison. There's a lot of moralizing about things that happens in the world, moral panics, moralizing. And in this respect, I encourage myself and other people to just stay in your lane. Like, do you have a loved one that is a gooner and it's affecting your relationship? Support them in getting treatment. Support them in getting help. Don't shame them for it. Don't shame them for it, because shame is the problem. And sexual repression is a huge problem for many people. And when all of that stuff is integrated, there's a freedom. You're no longer ashamed of the things that you did. Now, granted, I've gone through a recovery process. So, when you do a personal moral inventory, you kind of see all the fucked up shit you used to do, and you're less likely to engage in fucked up shit in the future that really hurts people. You're less engaged with that. But this is a weird, heady mix of shame and repression. And I can see how it could really screw somebody up if they have no discipline or self-control. Definitely. So I intended for the presentation to stop here, but I still had some questions. I still wanted to explore, could it be a spiritual practice in disguise? Like, there's obviously a reason why men and perhaps women would be drawn to this. Addiction is the seeking of a spiritual experience. And obviously, gooners are having spiritual experiences to this. I saw it in my own experience with gooning and gooners. So, could it be a spiritual practice? Well, I got a bonus presentation for this episode. So, how could gooning be a spiritual practice? Let's say you're disciplined, and let's say you have self-control issues. And let's say that it could be, okay? And maybe this would be a way to help people stop gooning for the wrong reasons. It's when discipline meets pleasure instead of chaos. So let's get spicy. Everyone loves to scream that gooning is the devil, but almost nobody asks the real question: can gooning be spiritual when done consciously and with discipline? The answer is yes, but only if you're not a feral raccoon locked in a porn cave trying to escape adulthood. Spirituality is not about pretending you're above your body, though many people like to pretend they're above their body. It's about entering your body fully with awareness, honesty, and intention. Human beings have always used intense physical states to access the sacred. Breathwork, drumming, fasting, chanting, dancing, sex. Even monks and yogis literally teach energy transmutation through the spine, breath, and pelvic floor. Let me tell you something about some monks that I met. Monks have sex parties. All right. Monks have circle jerks. Monks are not chaste. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, the body is the doorway to altered consciousness. The nervous system is the temple. How do I know that? Well, because I may have hung out with some monks and some seminary students in my time. So if someone approaches gooning not as a desperate escape, but as a ritual practice, it can become a tool rather than a trap. And here's what it could look like. So I'm going to talk about that on the next slide. But, I'm going to say you got to be open-minded with stuff in your life. And open-minded means having your beliefs challenged so that you can get to the truth about stuff. And so if you think that monks and nuns are these chaste people, I'm going to say the monks that I met, I would say gooning was a part of their practices. I mean, I've I've done stuff with very spiritually advanced people that involved eroticism and stuff. It's part of the human experience, and it's it just is. It just is. So the spiritual approach to gooning, intention. Before you begin, you decide the purpose: to connect with your body, to enter a meditative state, to move energy rather than chase a dopamine high, to release shame and reclaim sexuality instead of hiding it. Intention changes everything. And this is how I approached my experiences with this. To releasing shame. Like, I am so fucking sick of shame coming up around various fucking things, that releasing that shame and doing whatever it takes to release that shame is part of my obsession right now. There's also discipline. You control the session instead of letting it control you. A ritual has boundaries. It has a beginning and an end. You don't just perform until you collapse like a dehydrated pilgrim at the porn altar. So a discipline, like, how long is it going to last? You could set it, I'm going to do it for an hour at a minimum, or maybe 30 minutes or 2 hours. Like, you control the session. Like, let's say you start at 10 o'clock and you're like, I'm going to be done with this by noon. I mean, but those 12-hour sessions, I'm like, wow, I don't even know how anybody could do that for real. But number 3, presence. The focus is internal, not external. Breath, body sensation. You stop being a spectator and start being an explorer. You're not consuming porn. You're working with energy and intention. And here we have energetic transmutation. Sexual energy is creative energy. In Taoism and Tantra, this is the life force that builds art, ambition, and spiritual insight. Instead of numbing out, you channel that fire upward through the body. You feel your power instead of leaking it unconsciously. And I would say this takes a lot of practice. If you're still like titillated by sexual things and all of that, if you get horny, I want to talk about that. Like, when your sexual energy is restored, you don't really get horny anymore. It just is a part of you. It's just a part of your life. And you're actually, when your sexual energy is restored, you're not all that obsessed with sex anyway. It's just, it just kind of, the integration, it just becomes part of you. Like, when I went into my sessions, I was anticipating it, of course, but I was more exploratory about it. Like, what am I about to learn? What sort of shame is about to be released? What is going to happen in these things? What am I going to learn? I'm going to tell you, I left all of those sessions feeling clear, or I don't know, like unafraid, like I overcame something. I feel like I overcame something. I faced something that I didn't really want to face, and then I faced it, and I don't have to revisit it if I don't want to. So integration, you don't run away afterward. You breathe, you ground. Maybe you journal, walk, or meditate. You bring what you felt into real life rather than hiding it in shame. That's spirituality. Anything done with consciousness becomes sacred, and anything done unconsciously becomes self-destructive. And in my case, I told my husband I was going to do it. He supported it. It wasn't something that I was ashamed of. It wasn't something that I was going to be ashamed of. And in fact, when I was done with the first one that I did, when I was done, I went and told him, and I said, he goes, "How did it go?" And I'm like, it's wild. But I talked about it with other people. It wasn't something that I was ashamed of. I told several people that I did it. And I'm not going to be ashamed of it now. There's no need to be ashamed of it, because I did it for a specific purpose, for consciousness and healing and growth. And that might sound crazy to you, but the person who brought it up in my life, I was able to talk to them about it. And he encouraged me to see if there was anything that I could discover about myself. And I did discover stuff about myself. But the shame is just not going to be there about it. And I'm not addicted to shame anymore. I don't like it. So there is a shamanic perspective about this. It isn't about pretending to be pure and holy while denying the body. It is about touching every part of human experience: darkness, light, desire, fear, bliss, and integrating it instead of judging it. The body is not the enemy. Pleasure is not the enemy. Denial and shame are the enemy. If someone can goon consciously with grounding and balance, it becomes a portal into the body, a confrontation with shame, a way to dissolve the ego through intense sensation, a practice of surrender and self-awareness. Spiritual mastery isn't about becoming a monk floating above desire. It's about knowing how to ride the dragon and not letting it burn down your life. So yeah, gooning can be shamanic. If you have discipline, if you have balance, if you have intention. Otherwise, it's just another addiction when you trade reality for pixels. And in this day and age, in my life, I prefer people over pixels each and every time. And like I said before, definitely do not try this if you have addiction issues or anything like that. Don't do it, because it, in a lot of ways, it's like shadow work. Before you do shadow work, you fall in love with people. You start to confuse things. Like I'm probably going to experience a lot of shadow projections in my life, and especially about this. Like, people might project things onto me, and no matter how open and honest I am with people, I still get those weird projections. I still get those weird projections. People start seeing things in me that are not there but present in them. And you'll discover this too. The more comfortable you get in your body and the more comfortable you get in your skin, and people will project onto you. People might project onto me about this shit as well. They do. I don't think that there's anything wrong when people project onto me about stuff. If anything, it makes my job a lot easier. It makes my job, when I work with people, it makes it a lot easier, because if they start projecting things onto me that aren't even true or based in reality, they're revealing more about themselves. The more you integrate, the more you individuate. This is common and this is happening. This is going to happen to you. It happens to me. It happens to us all who do this. Like, I could be in a room of 20 people and 20 people will have a different idea about me. How do I know that how they feel about the way they talk to me, the way they treat me? Some people who have a lot to hide tend to look at me as if I'm trying to do something to them. And I'm not. I'm just trying to help people heal. And I don't want people to suffer all that much. But there is a real teaching to all of this. The real teaching is this: pleasure is powerful. The question is never, is pleasure bad? The question is, are you awake or asleep while you're doing it? If you're awake, gooning can be a spiritual practice. If you're asleep, it becomes a prison. It's never the act that defines the path. It's the consciousness behind it. And I know that the overwhelming majority of people will not be able to do this consciously. They just won't. So few people are working on their ego issues. So few men have been initiated into manhood that this practice would be extremely destructive for them. It would be extremely damaging to them. It would destroy their marriages, possibly destroy their livelihoods, their jobs. It would have a destructive element. And I've talked to some people recently where, you know, trying to say this in the right way. I don't come from a place where sexuality is bad. I don't come from that place where being a sexual being is bad. I had a brief time in my life, a very brief time in my life, where I shoved my sexuality down and it made me fucking sick. It gave me IBS. It made me sick. And so restoring it and reclaiming it in whatever way I needed to became part of my focus. And I had uncomfortable conversations with my husband and other people in my life, people who I felt had more integrated sexuality than I did. And I have gone to other type of fellowship meetings sex addiction meetings and stuff like that to see if I was getting into something that I didn't need to be getting into. So I'm doing the work when I do this stuff. I'm doing it. I'm checking. I'm balancing. I'm making sure that everything is copacetic. The overwhelming majority of people will not be able to do that. They won't. They will not be able to check in with themselves. They will not be able to be honest with themselves and other people. And to do this type of deep healing, integration, individuation work is going to be uncomfortable, and it is going to require 100% complete and total honesty, if not with other people, with yourself. My final word on gooning is that it can be a spiritual practice if you've taken care of a whole lot of other shit first. Otherwise, don't even do it. So yeah, gooning is really bad for you. Most people should not do it. Most people shouldn't. I shouldn't do it. Doing it for a specific ritualistic purpose a few times, maybe. But I think if you want to alter your consciousness, do it through breath work. I think, well, sexuality and eroticism is a really direct way into it, but most people can't handle it. Most people would not be able to handle it. And so when I'm making this whole episode, I hope you learned something. But most importantly, I want you to know that you don't have to judge people who are gooning. You don't have to judge them for that. That's a phase in their life. Much in the same way that when I was drinking a lot of alcohol, that was a season in my life. I'm in a season of recovery now, and individuating it by any means necessary, individuating by any means necessary, and whatever that looks like. I don't know. Spirits are guiding me on this. Spirits guide me. God guides me. And so far, so good. I'm healthier, I think, than I've ever been in my life. And I so love the fact that there are so many of you willing to go on some uncomfortable journeys and have some uncomfortable conversations with me via this channel. So that's it. Is gooning bad for you? Yeah. Can it be used as a spiritual practice? For advanced people only, for real. I want you to have a lovely day. And please don't forget that we love you. We really do. Mwah.